Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Nordic Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for October 2018, post the Legendary Hero decks and Soul Fusion. I want to bring you guys an update to this deck after the release of Soul Fusion. We got some pretty awesome support for the Nordic cards, including the new Link monster and also the new monster in Soul Fusion, Alvis, the Nordic. I believe it's Alfar. I don't remember off the top of my head what the last title for it, but we'll see it in the video with the deck profile. The whole point of the deck is to special summon out the big Nordic synchro monsters, Thor, Loki, and Odin, based on like the easier way they made it with the Link monster and some of your other monsters now available to you. Plus, with the Link summon option in general, just having different Link monsters out is definitely much easier with all the different Nordic monsters you have. But let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 Vanitas of the Nordic Ascendant. There are 3 different types Nordic cards. There are Alfar, Ascendant, and the Beasts with the Ascendants. With this one, for a Synchro Summon, you can substitute this card for any Nordic tuner. And if this card is used as a Synchro material, all other Synchro materials must be Nordic monsters. And once per turn, you can send 1 Nordic monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card's level becomes the level of that monster until the end of this turn. So with Vanitas, it's just very helpful because she sets up the level adjustment and the fact that you can use her for any of the synchros. The big thing with the Nordics is they have specific Nordic, basic tuners, Ascendant, Beast, and Alfar respectively for all 3 of them. So she just helps. Being generic, you can grab either one you want for her, and that send effect for the level adjustment definitely does help as well for your synchros. I also run 3 Mimir of the Nordic Ascendant. With this one, once per turn at the start of your standby phase, if you control a Nordic monster and this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 spell from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card. So it's just an easy other monster to get. All you have to do is if you have like a spell card you're not going to know you can use during that turn in your hand, easy, send to the graveyard just to reuse for the special summon of this card to the field. So an additional monster that can definitely come in handy. And I run 3 Alvis of the Nordic Alfar. This is the new monster. Sadly, I only got 2 from my booster box opening and gave all the rest of them away I had in either trades. But I'm going to buy some more booster packs later today. So hopefully I get the last one I need. I swear this card is definitely short print, which is how difficult it was for me to get. But if this card is banished by the effect of a Nordic Link monster, you can send to the graveyard 1 Nordic monster you control and 2 Nordic monsters from your deck whose total levels equal to then special summon 1 an Acer monster from your extra deck. If an Acer monster is in your possession is sent to your graveyard by your opponent's card, you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon 1 Acer monster from your extra deck with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. You can only use the effect of Alvis, the Nordic Alfar, once per turn. So it's great setup with your new Nordic Link monster, being that she has the special summon potential, which we'll get to in a bit when we get to her. But with Alvis being able to get out your different Nordic beasts, like if you go through one of them, you can just special summon the other one out. It's resources and a definite 3 of in the deck, just for that easy help from the graveyard as well. But the banish cost also definitely does come in handy. I run also 2 Dverg of the Nordic Alfar. It is a level 1. I didn't really see it have much play before, but now that we have Link summon options, after you normal summon this card, you can normal summon 1 Nordic monster during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summoner set. You only gain this effect once per turn, and if this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard, target 1 Nordic relic or basically card in your graveyard, add that card to your hand. Not as necessary as the Nordic, normal summon, just because getting the field out can definitely help with Link summon plays. Plus, Dverg is also a level 1, so it is a Link Karibo target, which we also do run in the deck as well, just for extra support. Just 2 though, the level 1 adjustment also can help with Vanitas if need be, since it works the best with your different levels you might need for synchro summoning. I also run 3 Tangrisnir of the Nordic Beast. If this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 Nordic Beast tokens. They're level 3s, attack and defense both 0, but just with destroyed by battle, good to sit on for the defense if you open up with the Tangrisnir. Plus, this and Tangnostor. Sorry if I butchered those names. I don't keep up too much with Nordic literature, so I probably murdered a lot of these names. But like I said, when we get to it, it helps because we also run Rescue Cat in the deck, but also to finish it up, I run 2 Tang Joster. I'm just going to call him Joster. But with this, when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and once per turn, when this defense position card on the field is changed to face-up attack position, you can special summon 1 Nordic Beast monster from your deck in defense, except for Joster. So with this card, it just helps as an additional target for Rescue Cat, but it also has great special summon potential. Might even consider bumping it up to 3. I might show what to take out for a third one of this, just for that option available to you. And then for the one-ofs for the Nordic monsters, I run 1 Svartalf of the Nordic Alfar. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 Nordic monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. It's a level 5, so a little more difficult, but I like having it in there for the send option if you need that level 5 monster to mix and adjust with some of your other Nordic levels, obviously, to have the proper level for the special summon. And also 1 Goldfax of the Nordic Beasts. If your opponent controls a synchro monster, you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once again, I just run it for that extra level option, but also there's potentially that situation when they do have a synchro, and that special summon can come in handy. Plus, he's also the Nordic Beast tuner for that option available to you, just like how Svartalf is a tuner for Alfar, and Vanitas being your Ascendant tuner, even though she can work with all of them. And that is it for the Nordic monsters. For the non-Nordic monsters, I want to run 3 Rescue Cats. Just have 1 at the moment. Lent out the other Rescue Cats to my girlfriend for her wind-up deck. But Rescue Cat is definitely needed in the deck. You can send this card to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast-type monsters from your deck, but they have their effects negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. You can only use the effect of Rescue Cat once per turn, but the destroy at the end phase isn't really that big of a problem, since most of the time with the Nordic Beasts you summon out, you're going to end up using them for whether it be a Link summon or a Nordic summon to get out with your Nordic Link monsters, so Rescue Cat definitely does help for those situations. I also run 2 Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. You run plenty of light and dark monsters in this deck, whether it be some of the Alfar monsters or the Nordic Ascendant monsters, and with just some of the other options being your Azer monsters, whether it be Odin or the Link monster, you have plenty of targets in your graveyard for special summoning out your heavy hitter BLS. You might even, if you want to bump it up to 3, you could take out some of the hand trap options. I like 2 though, because sometimes I just open up too many BLS and not enough resources in the graveyard. But to help with the BLS special summonings, I also run 2 Effect Veiler. It's a great hand trap. You can even run Ash or Ghost Ogre if you have that option available to you, but the Monster Negate affection is the biggest thing you have to worry about for sure when you're going up against your opponent with your Nordic monsters, because they'll try and stop your big synchro plays no matter the cost. So having Effect Veiler available to you definitely does come in handy. Plus, I said before, it's a light monster to banish with the darks for Envoy at the beginning. And then for the spell cards, I run 2 Allure of Darkness. Now, I have Allure in here for draw power. We don't run full dark monsters, but it's also a spell option to send for Mimir if Mimir is in the graveyard for that special summon. So think of that also when you're using your spell cards for your cost for the discard. I also run 2 Scapegoats, just more additional monster summons out to the field. With it, you just need also, don't forget, for a lot of the Nordic monsters, when you summon them out, they need 2 non-tuner monsters. They're not, really bound down to what you can summon out with your, non-tuner monsters. So Scapegoat can even help if you do it on the end phase, whether you use it for a Link summon or just those additional, monster adjustments if you were going to go for the Nordic synchros the proper way and not through the use of Alvis or the Link monster. I also run 1 Dark Hole. You can run Regeki if you want. It's actually in my token deck at the moment. Been working on that deck as well. But Regeki can help if you get your big synchro monster out. You can just hit it out with big swing to your opponent. And also I run 1 Soul Charge and 1 Monster Reborn, just easy special summon with these 2 cards. You don't really use your life points for much else, so Soul Charge definitely helps there. And I also run 1 Upstart Goblin just for additional draw power, grabbing what you need after sending some of your other Nordics. You can grab other spells or monsters to help out with this situation. And I also run 2 Call by the Grave, just graveyard effects for sure. If your opponent has, Ghost Ogre, Ash, Effect Veiler themselves, this card, main deck, definitely does come in handy for stopping a lot of those different plays. And then for the traps, I run 3 back to the front. This card is just in here because I don't really want to special summon any of the Nordic monsters with them having low attack in attack position just for them to be destroyed. Back to the front, especially if I go for, let's say, Tangrisnir and then get those tokens, definitely does come in handy. So 3 of this just helps for special summoning options along with the Monster Reborn and the Soul Charge. Plus, I also run 1 Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Warning, just for better conflict, so you don't really have to worry about low life points with the Soul Charge. You can swap these out for Solemn Strikes if you want, but also, after the Soul Charge, the Judgment does come in handy just for the lower life and having costs you have to pay for it. But that is it for the main deck. We'll move on to the extra. For the synchro monsters, I run 2 Odin, Father of the Aesir, just because he's one of the bigger, stronger of the 2 compared to Thor and Loki. Once per turn, you can make this card be unaffected by spell and traps until the end of this turn. And once per turn during the end phase, if this face-up card you control was destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 Nordic Ascendant Tuner from your graveyard to special summon this card. When summoned this way, you draw 1 card. So the spell and trap protection definitely does help Odin against, spell and trap problems, but monster effects are another story, which is why we run the Effect Veiler and Call by the Grave to, basically deal with problems like Ghost Ogre or anything else that could screw up that problem there. Also, I run 1 Thor, Lord of the Aesir. It's the negate the all effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls currently until the end of this turn. And once per turn during the end phase, if this face-up card was destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 Nordic Beast Tuner in your graveyard, special summon this card, and inflict 800 damage to your opponent. So, great backup. Different options as well, like Odin taking care of spell and traps, Thor face-up monsters your opponent controls, and lastly 1 Loki, just for once per turn when your opponent activates a spell or trap during your battle phase, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. And once per turn during the end phase, you can banish a Nordic Alfar Tuner to special summon this card, and then you can target 1 card to 1 trap in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So reuse traps if need be, definitely can come in handy with Loki for sure. I also have 1 Coral Dragon in here. This could be an additional optioned synchro monster you want to run, whether it be Coral Dragon, which was made easier to get compared to all the other ones. It could be Black Rose, you name it, anything you find useful for this last synchro spot. And then for one of the main monsters, finally getting into it at the end of the video, 3 Gullaveg of the Nordic Ascendant. With this one, you need 1 level 5 or lower Nordic monster to make this Link monster. If this Link summon, you can banish up to 3, I believe it was 3 cards from your hand and or field, and if you do special summon that many Nordic monsters from your deck and defense, also for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Aesir monsters, nor normal or set any monsters. You can only use the effect of Gullaveg, the Ascendant, once per turn, and when this card points to an Aesir monster, your opponent cannot target that monster with card effects. Also, monsters your opponent cannot target this card for attack. So with her, she sets up the best protection for this card and your Nordic. Having the banish available to you to get out that special summon, plus you'll get out the Nordic monster properly as well. And then if you have Alvis in your graveyard, just helping with that extra protection definitely does come in handy. So she's a definite 3 of just for full use of her and potentially to get out all your Nordic synchro monsters. And then for the generics, I run 1 Linkuriboh with the Scapegoats and the level 1s. Very easy to use this Link monster as well. Also 1 Landfornicus, generic, once again, to make out with Scapegoat and all your other different monsters. I also run 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Underclock Taker, just for more generic Link 2s you can make. And then for some of the heavy hitters, I run 1 Topologic Trisbana and 1 Saryuja, just for more Link options available to you, but most of the time you're going to want to go for your synchro plays with the deck anyway. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely happy I was finally able to get Nordics out to you all for deck profile after the release of all the new support they got. It's definitely fun. Try it out and you won't regret it. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.